Blessings, everyone. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. And, wow, that food poisoning, that's a true assault on the body, I'll tell you. And I'm feeling a lot better today to only get knocked down again. I received some really, really bad news about a family member. And I got to keep that quiet right now because I'm not sure who's listening. So... yeah, well, let's just get started. Okay, so now I again was stuck at the belief, where I was in the garden. And before I went on my trip, I heard Brother Nolin talk about this, about the double skin, the double coats, the coats of skin. And I was just shaking my head. I was just shaking my head listening to him. I'm absolutely amazed. So let's just get started, okay? Because there's a lot ahead of us here. So again, this is about Cain's seed.
Leave the worst. But it's very hard to evaluate, okay? What is the worst punishment? The punishment on the man that he got to work with, hard work? Or the woman that she got to suffer a lot during birth? Or the other punishment, you have the serpent himself, Satan, that got a punishment too, eating the dust. Okay, what does it mean exactly? And you have also the other punishment, which is on Cain, which has to do with his seed, his lineage. The seed of his father, rather, and his lineage. And it is that he is a fugitive all the day of his life. Which one is the greatest punishment? That's open for debate, but the point of me making this video is something else. So he's talking about making them coats of skins, but it's right, right next to the punishment also that comes after, because you have you have to bear with me on this, okay, because I don't know in advance what I'm going to say. But unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothed them. So we believe, I hope we all believe, that it's when you are wearing when you are wearing something, okay, whatever type of things that you wear, you're not talking about your own skin. You're talking about some other skin on your skin, right? So after that, it's not to say that the skin is the skin that he put on you. No, you have your skin, and when you wear something, do not bring two coats. You bring one coat, okay? You don't need two coats, but you have your own skin, and you have what you wear. There's mention of do not wear a double skin. Then it would go to this conspiracy, which I believe is true conspiracy, about the fugitive, Cain, his lineage, hiding in a double layer skin. One skin that is false, that it looks like man, human, and there is his real skin that is hid, double layer of skin. But do not bring two coats. Tell me why in the scriptures it will mention that, if not because of that revelation. Okay, do not bring two coats. But be shod with sandals and not put on two coats. There's a reason, okay? He said he will speak in parable. Every word in the scriptures is a parable for something that we can understand when we see it. If you see people with, the reptilian on the internet, okay, they do what? They have a layer around them. It's like the two coats of skin, okay?
When anyone is guilty of a serious crime and they do not want to be held accountable,
when you look at those reptilian, look at it. That's kind of that, okay? You've got different. This is drowned, but there is technology that can make things possible. That think about it, okay? All type of technology that you see today, seeming normal to you because you're born maybe with it, but it's coming up, this thing about, well, you can show yourself in a different color of hair magically, but it's technology. You can show yourself with different look, all because technology. So yes, it's possible, and yes, I believe it's not just possible, but it's actually true. Because if the scriptures, and it's saying that the Cain lineage, they do what? They are Cain. It's not talking just about Cain. It's a punishment on his seed. So hiding when not hid with the second layer of skin. Fugitive in the earth, and how come you can find them? Well, I believe there is a hint given about the cutting of the ears. Why I believe it's the cutting of the ears when Peter he removed the sword from his sheath, and then he cut the ear, and Jesus he just made it all again. Okay, how he made it all again? But the thing, because he make miracles, but I think that it was all about something, technology hid in the ear. You have a lot of show of Star Trek type of television show that were exactly showing this thing of having a technology that makes them looking like this when they are ready as they are, and looking like this when they are fugitive, because it's mentioning somebody would find them. So it's all
Okay. Okay. So here's what Cain's seed looks like. And I know that you have a hard time seeing it, but if you go to the original, you might see him a little bit better here. But here's just the outline of him. This is, again, his shoulder. This is his face. He's wearing a turtleneck. He's clothed here. Okay, maybe that's a little too close. But here, I don't have time. But the night that I was saved, it was the sound and the frequency that was in my ear. Now, Brother Nolin speaks of where Jesus puts the ear back and he believes that it's technology. Well, I do believe that myself. I believe it is technology. I believe it's MK Ultra. Okay? The night that, when I look at this now, the frequency, the sound, what happened was like it was piercing, like there was pain going in both ears, going right into my head. And it was so piercing and painful. Then there was the sound, and that sound, that frequency was so high. And then I heard the noise of like a metallic screeching sound rubbing up against something, which you hear out there that nobody knows. And I know, for myself, I know it's them. I know it's them. Okay? It's these guys here, what we're looking at. Okay, Cain's seed. And the noise was so bad. And then I heard a voice say, do you want to live or do you want to die? As clear as day. And then I was going to say die because I wanted to stop the pain, but then I called out for Jesus and I said, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And he came in and he just banished it. Like nothing happened to me. Absolutely nothing. From like a life-death situation where I really thought I was going to die spiritually, die in my sleep. It was very real. And then there was energy taken from me. And it looked like poles, you know, like just the energy. Anyway. So then now I've got to talk about the most recent event that I had with these things. It was a few years ago, and I was woken by a flicking of a claw, like a claw flicking my private part, and I got up and I wanted to swing and hit him. And as soon as I was ready to react and I turned around, it vanished. Again, I go up and I go in prayer and I'm asking God, why is it that got so close? I thought the battle was done. A few days later, again, it happens, but I'm coming out of my sleep and this thing is at the bottom of my bed and he's flipping my foot. He wants my attention. So once he gets the attention and acknowledgement, boom, he's gone. So again, I'm crying and I'm asking God, why is it they got so close? And then that's when I heard in spirit, they can't hurt you. And I knew immediately that this was not a battle. They were weak. They were going to be that close to us. They were going to be able to be that close, but wouldn't be able to touch us. They wouldn't hurt us. We are not to worry about this. Okay? We are not to worry about this. So it was a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call from my daughter. My daughter's telling me about my brother. And I hadn't told anybody about this situation I had with these things here. And I'm talking to my daughter on the phone, and all of a sudden I feel like a blanket that's coming over me, and it's really heavy, and I'm starting to fall back to sleep, and it's like I'm going into a deep sleep. And I believe I did fall asleep, and then I heard a voice, a woman's voice, and I'm the only woman in the house. And I heard a woman's voice say, "Are you coming?" And I just pulled myself off the bed, started to make my phone calls, got packed, and on the road I went. I was 3 hours away from my brother. So once I got there, my nephew met up with me and we both went in to see my brother. My brother didn't recognize me. He didn't acknowledge me. I was standing there right by my nephew. And he's talking to my nephew and he says, "What's that movie," he said, "with the tails?" And my nephew says, "Avatar." And he says, yeah. He says, "Avatar." He says, "They were at Kelly's." And then he goes to say, "They wanted me to do something, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it." And I knew right away, immediately, it was sex. It was a sex act or something that had to do with sex. And I asked him about it later because he wasn't willing to talk about anything. I asked him later and he said, "Yeah. How did you know?" And then I told him. But what he didn't tell me at the time was that he was hearing voices and he was being tormented and he didn't know whether to go to a psychiatrist. He didn't want to come to me because he thought I was too religious and then I wouldn't understand. So he's being tormented. Being tormented. He said at 3 o'clock in the morning, he said the voices are coming at him and there's like a hag that screams at him, screeches at him at 3 o'clock in the morning and he just jumps right out of bed. So I really believe that this is MK Ultra. Okay? So then once my brother tells me about the voices, I get in contact with a friend of mine who had brain surgery. She's about 60 something, 65, I believe. And I told her what was happening to my brother, and that's when she told me that the same thing was happening to her, that she was hearing voices and she was being screamed at 3 o'clock in the morning where she would be just jumping right out of bed. Same story. Same story. So you see, I always ask the question, why did Jesus only come to me and help me in the battle when these things were involved? Only when these things were involved. So now I'm starting to understand the connection here. Okay, well, I'm going to stop right here. But I'm going to be getting into the MK Ultra and some more of Cain's seed. But I'm running out of time. No fear. Be love and give hope. God bless.